So we are here at Hermann Wiemer. I'm with co-owner Oscar, a Swede with the most beautiful smile in the Finger Lakes. A friend, how are you, buddy? All
I'm
good?
so good. It's
Did you
good to have
enjoy?
you here.
Did you enjoy the podcast
I
interview?
did. I did.
I
Good
didn't
on
go too
you.
crazy,
You did, but that's
right?
okay. We
You
like
did.
crazy people. It's all
All right.
right.
Well, the crazy charter the path for the ones that are not,
Yeah,
for the
that's
coherent
right.
ones. All right. So let's
Good
speak
crazy.
about
Perfectly crazy.
Rieslings.
Yes.
Rieslings from the Finger Lakes, from Seneca Lake, and these are the best Rieslings in terms of range that I've had in my life. We are starting with a Riesling that you call flower. That's
Flower day,
low
yes.
flower day.
Hmm.
That's 11.2 alcohol, all the way to something that has just captured my soul. As Andrew Jeffers says in Decanter, this wine has inhabited me.
So Herman J. Wiemer Rieslings. So this winery, we're on the west side of Seneca Lake. We have specialized in Riesling since the late 70s,
Mhm.
where Herman started to plant some experimental plantings in the late 70s. Um, the style that we're doing is obviously quality driven. We're trying to be. Um, these wines are all hand picked, hand sorted,
All
and
state fruit,
is all
your
estate
fruit.
fruit. And although Hermann Wiemer was from Germany and have a little German look, we take pride, and our main goal is to have very authentic Rieslings from the Finger Lakes to show off Finger Lakes. So again, not only hand sorted and hand picked, but they are then blended and sorted and not fermented on only with the indigenous yeast.
Let's go to the
So
first one, the flower day. What are you going for in flower day? What's the style of this wine? What are you trying to convey to your consumers when they buy this wine?
we can talk about these wines, and we will often relate to picking time.
Mhm.
You know, a Riesling as a grape variety can be picked in different ripeness level.
Mhm.
Mm. Just to keep it a little simple, everything from maybe 19% residual sugar up to 40, 50.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then as the wines ferment, and the earlier pick, you tend to have a little higher acidity in the grape variety,
Yeah.
and the later you have a little lower acidity,
Uh-huh.
right? And then the grape variety Riesling can be planted in different types of soils. It could be shale-driven soils. It could be more organic, thicker or deeper soils, which give different styles and flavors. Riesling as a variety is very transparent. It
Yeah.
really shows off where it's planted.
Mhm.
So in front of you have different wines with different picking times, but also different locations.
Mhm.
So you have many variables coming into it. The first wine is an early pick wine. So picked with lower natural occurring sugar levels in the wine. Therefore, as you ferment it dry, so fermentation, converts sugars into alcohol. But if there's not so much sugar initially, when you ferment, use up the sugar, you won't have the potential alcohol being so high either.
Exactly.
Therefore, this is a lighter, fresher wine.
I said that this is the most dangerous wine I've had. You can drink the whole bottle in an hour and you don't even notice until you stand up. But it's delicious, it's crisp, it's light, it's
Mhm.
vibrant, but it's also serious. It has the minerality of your Riesling here. It's fantastic. This is the dry Riesling. What can you tell me about this one right
So
here?
dry Riesling, that is our flagship, the wines that we are proud over, or that where we set our standards for our Rieslings. It's a dry Riesling, which means that there's very little residual sugar left. But it's not necessarily only early picks. So there's some later picks from sites that are riper presentation.
It's a blend of
The
sites to
blends
create
of
a
sites.
style.
They could be 20 different, 30 different pickings. So as I mentioned to you, we don't adjust our wine. So there's no acidities or sugars or anything added to them. We don't manipulate the wines in the
You
cellar.
let
But
the terroir speak
yeah,
as
so
loud as
instead
it
of
can.
bringing balance, you then capture the nuances of Riesling through and then blend them together.
Let's do something cool. Here, what do you get here on the nose? Let's
So
taste together. Come on,
yeah,
let's do it.
so you have
What do you have here?
you mentioned before Riesling that has this white flowers,
Yeah.
aromatic. A lot of Riesling tend to have a little citrusy, the lime and citrus on the nose, which makes them so fresh.
Yes.
Yeah, you get a lot of that, and then on the palate, you might have more stone fruit.
Yes.
You're getting into the peaches, and
Yeah.
that derives a little bit from the later picked fruit in that wine.
Let me ask you about food pairings. If somebody in Puerto Rico or in other parts where they watch our content goes and purchase a bottle of this, what's like a natural good pairing you suggest? It's just a suggestion we're giving to people.
Well, so Riesling is very versatile,
Yes.
and the reason for that is that a gentle alcohol, but also as we've had noticing the acidity, and the acidity can cut through a lot of
Fat.
things, a lot of fat, but also if you introduce a lot of spices to your food,
Mm-hmm.
you can also, since it's not so high in alcohol, it will be a little gentler in cooling down some of the
It's
spicier
so
food.
versatile. It
Yeah.
can go with sushi, it can go
So
with Mexican food, Thai food, it can go with empanadas in Puerto
yeah,
Rico, it can go with fritters. And Riesling knows how to play second fiddle to food because there are other wines that want to compete with the
yeah,
food. They're way too big, they're way too
yeah,
bombastic. This is the supporting actor
yeah.
or actress that gets the Oscar every time.
That's right.
Let's get to
Good
the
on
third
you,
wine. This is the Magdalena Vineyard. This is also available in Puerto Rico. Magdalena is a tribute to Herman's mother.
mother. Yeah,
Okay.
great. Yeah. Also, again, Riesling. Now we are just showcasing a site that is close to the lake, a little deeper soils, a little richer. So now you have a little bit more muscles to it, like a little bit more weight to it. Still being dry, but the mid palate has a little bit more presence. So you just say that this is a supporting actor.
Mm-hmm.
With Magdalena, you're now you have a little bit more going into the main role
Yeah,
here. Like you now,
more,
this can carry. This has a
more,
little bit more stuff to it.
more texture,
Yeah, yeah,
more meat to the bones. Delicious.
yeah. So then you can see that these are light fresher. Now you're getting into still dry, but there's a texture element here that
Yeah.
adds to it.
Let's go to this one.
Yeah.
This is a delicious Joseph Vineyard Riesling 2023. What can you tell me about the difference between how Joseph Vineyard expresses itself vis-a-vis the Magdalena Vineyard?
So Joseph now are old vines that we pick maybe 2 to 3 weeks later than the Magdalena.
Okay.
And we pick it on much higher ripeness and sugar level that we don't ferment all that down to dryness. So
Okay.
now you're showing up some residual sugar.
This be akin to what? Spatless or
Auslese.
Auslese?
Auslese. Yeah. This is Auslese. So now if you could ferment this bone dry, but then your alcohol will be very high. Now you're enjoying the sun drenched grapes that have been very ripe. You're getting into a very rich, now very tropical
And
fruit.
yeah, tropical, and then there's this white honey component to it with chamomile, but it's not sweet. The acidity
Yeah.
on the finish balance the sugar.
Now, when you talk about food and wine, I think we should now mention the sugar level. What is this one here?
Yeah.
Sugar level. When you have this sugar, when you have your stinky cheeses,
Yeah.
or you have a lot of salt in your dishes, and you usually put you have a dates, or you have something, a
Yeah.
sweet fruit.
Uh-huh.
This now, a wine like this will kick in and do that
Yeah,
work.
we'll do
So then
that.
if you have the
Brie
gorgonzola
cheese,
or
gorgonzola.
like really salty, these are beautiful
Yeah,
wines.
that's a great pairing.
Yeah.
Now we're getting into that same wine, but
Yeah,
from
this is one of your
2009.
favorite. Yeah.
This is something that I want to touch on. The capacity of Riesling from the Finger Lakes, from
Yeah.
Hermann Wiemer to age. Let's talk about a Riesling that's 16 years old now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. How has time changed this one? What do you detect here that maybe wasn't in the first one?
Yeah, so you see this primary fruit, the fruity component in the Joseph that's young, it might go away, and then you have a tertiary fruit, a little bit more, I don't want to say cooked fruit, but a little bit more aged, pruned, dry
Yeah.
fruit coming in, a little petrol flavors as we talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But as you see, the freshness and acidity is still there and holding the wine together, which is gorgeous.
We got some green apple, then it's going into maybe a red, and then into a bruised, caramelized a bit,
Yeah.
without like flamed apple.
Yeah.
Torched
That's
apple,
very
if
good.
you will.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not that bad.
No, you're not.
And now we're gonna finish
Are you gonna
with
finish
another
with
expression of Riesling. We went from light, low alcohol, very, very dry, to the best wine I've had this trip.
really? Pressure
This
is on.
this is a monstrosity of elegance. Is Shaquille O'Neal on stilettos. Is Cleopatra's pajamas. Is the missing shoe of Cinderella. This is gorgeous. Why are you
No,
laughing?
I
It's
said
my
because I'm
it's
gonna.
my style.
No,
It's
I'm
my
just trying to
program.
record. I have to remember these things.
This is unforgettable.
Can we
Remember that
use
song?
that for our tasting notes?
Jesus Christ!
Shaquille
This
O'Neal
uh, on
on
stilettos is
stilettos.
power and
Yeah.
grace.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just see it in front of me. It's
yeah.
not. I
It's
don't
not. It's
really
not a
see
pretty picture.
grace.
Yeah. Let's go to this
so,
one.
so
This
this
is
is a rarity. This is a rarity. This might be the only time you'll have this today, my friend. But so
tell
this
me,
is now.
take 2 minutes. I will shut the heck up. 2 minutes to talk about this.
So this is a we call it Noble Select, a very rare wine because it's doesn't the occasion doesn't happen all the time to make this wine. This is wines that derives from Botrytis fruit, which is this fungus that attacks the grapes. And if you have the perfect circumstances, you will have this mold attack the grapes in October. And then if you have dry condition, it will dry out. But also this botrytis dehydrates the grapes and concentrates the flavors. And then if you're lucky, in November, you have these raisins that sits on the vine. We haven't made this in the last 5 years. So you have these dried fruit. This is Riesling that sits on the, and then you sort those raisins from the clusters, and you bring it into the press bed here, and we sort it out. And then we press that under very, very, very high pressure because you're pressing really dried fruit, and it sits under pressure for days, and a little golden drop comes out of the press, and this you get what you have in here, like sugar levels that are in the 40-50% range naturally occur in sugar that you then ferment, not in very high alcohol, below 10%, but then residual sugar is very high.
This is 175 here,
Mhm.
and is glorious.
Mhm.
It's incredible, and this speaks not only of the versatility of Riesling, but also a tribute to the Finger Lakes and to Hermann Wiemer, who's probably making the best dessert wine in the United States.
Thank you.
Incredible.
Good on you.
This has been incredible.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, it's
It's
an
something
enjoyable wine.
that's really touched my
And
heart.
people ask me, what do you match with this? And I say, don't, just have
No,
it.
nothing. This is unforgettable. It's an unforgettable wine.
Okay,
It
very
is.
good. You have all these zingers I have to use.
Thank you so much,
Thank you very
Oscar.
much.
It's been
Thank
my
you. Cheers.
pleasure.
Pleasure. Cheers,
Vengan a
everybody.
los Finger Lakes.